Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
On a slippery, big guns like my food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo.
Hey everybody, welcome to the QuiverCast, where we chat with surfers from all around the world, from all walks of life, and we get their story. Find us at www.thequivercast.com. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. Hello, everyone. This is Mike here with the QuiverCast, and we got a super special guest all the way in Carlsbad. We got Rick DeVoe, who is, well, a man of many titles, I think. A surf movie promoter, or just a promoter in general?
Yeah, just I promote things that I'm passionate about.
Okay.
And they happen to be things that involve surfing and fishing and punk rock and stuff like that.
Cool. You also are a manager?
Yes, sir.
Managed bands, many famous bands?
I've had a few. Yeah.
That's rad. And the music of my generation, so I love it. And you're still a promoter, and you're still a manager. And what else your other titles do you have into your name? Surfer?
Yeah. First and foremost, 100% surfer.
Okay.
This is where it all starts. And that's where my passion for that sport took me to where I'm sitting here today with you.
Cool.
I just love surfing. Like, I'm thinking about it all day right now. Like, I wish I can go out, but it's gale.
It is gnarly.
We have the 50th storm in the last 8 weeks of this year.
Late season, too.
No, it's great. We're getting water.
Yeah,
so that's good.
True.
But it's so cold. But it's good. I surf so much, so not surfing right now and being able to focus on work is kind of actually needed.
Let's start right there then.
Okay.
You seem like you work hard. I saw you the few minutes we've been together now.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yes.
So does surfing get in the middle of that? And what's your priority?
My priority every day is really to try to get in the water.
Okay.
I mean, it really is. I live at the beach and I have no excuse. Sometimes I come up with excuses not to go out. Like, if once I start counting the people out front, that's always stupid. So, or it's mushy, it's always mushy in front of my house. But it's not Oceanside. But I really try to make sure I surf every day. I try, and then I really focus on my work. I wake up really early, write down my to-do list for that day, and then I try to go jump in the water, get some exercise, and then punch in my work, and then focus on my wife and my kids.
Once you get the surf out, does that matter what time of the day? Does it have to be first thing to kind of get your head straight, or what?
Lately, the older I've been getting, I'm finding myself I'm not cracking it anymore like I used to.
Well, you live there. You can get it at noon.
I can get it at noon.
You check it when it's good.
I don't mind a little bit of a blown out situation, but I don't know. Surfing with people is starting to really bug.
Okay. What about the cold water? The older you're getting. Not that you're old.
No. The air has been chillier than normal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's freezing right now. I feel like it's going to snow here in Carlsbad right now at 3 in the afternoon or whatever it is. But, I have some nice Rip Curl wetsuits that I've been purchasing and they're warm. Booties.
I was going to ask you wear booties.
Oh, I have to.
Hood?
I do occasionally, in the morning. Okay. I live part-time up in Oxnard, so I'm usually putting my booties on in my 4.3, usually around October here in Encinitas.
Okay.
And people are still in short-sleeve fulls.
Yeah.
Because I get up to Oxnard, and it's like a whole other world when I surf up there. I'm in usually half the year in a 4.3 and booties, and then those cold March freezing wind upwelling mornings, I got to wear, hood.
What's the difference between the waves at Oxnard versus Encinitas or Carlsbad or wherever?
There's a huge difference.
Okay.
One is you get pounded so much harder.
Up there?
Yes.
Okay.
The ice cream headaches are way more intense. I feel like the waves in front of my house in Oxnard to Oxnard Shores are either like perfect or they just like are non-existent. So you get these days that are like, they're teepees and there's so many fun empty waves around there. But then when you come to Encinitas, it's just like Grandview is where I live. It's like the world's best average wave. It's like always fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
It's just, so I ride more of like a fishy, kind of a mod fish. I designed a board for the 1 year I was a part owner of INT Soft Tops. I designed a board called the Bird.
Okay.
There was actually a lot of R&D that went into this board. It's basically a fish with real fins. I actually kind of mastered the thing. I learned how to get barreled on it, and I get really excited to ride that on high tide shore break stuff.
That's all right.
It's so fun. You should get one.
Yeah.
And
they're still available, right?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
It's such a fun board. And that surfboard really kind of I've been surfing for so long. It kind of found this new stoke.
Yeah.
And I get so excited when I see, it's like, all right, it's kind of small, but it's real high tide shore breaking. I go, yeah. And I ride this board. I don't know. That's like Grandview.
How many boards do you have in your quiver?
I have no idea.
You don't know that
I
many?
have so many surfboards. Really? Yeah.
And then are you leaving a different stash up north, up in Oxford?
Correct. Yeah. Yes, I actually have a pretty amazing longboard collection. Stuffed my rafters, and Timmy Curran used to shape. I've been managing Timmy Curran since he was like 15 years old. Yeah. And he shaped me a bunch of boards. He went through this phase where he made all these boards, and I still have them. They're different looking, but I have those and some really old like 50s and 60s longboards.
Are you like a collector?
No, but I just have collected some boards.
It just happens.
Yeah, yeah.
And where are you finding these boards? Like friends of friends or garage sales or
trash cans and garage sales and like, the old gem longboards I have, like I found them like literally in the trash or at a garage sale like in Topanga Canyon or something weird like that.
So you're married. What does your wife think?
What did you think?
About all these boards?
I definitely took over one portion of our yard. It's like,
and she's cool with it?
Battleship Row. She don't care. As long as I'm not asking her to go surfing, she's fine.
Does she surf?
She knows how to surf. She's been surfing just as long as I've been dating and married to her, which is 30 plus years.
Wow.
But yet she still asks me what foot does she put the leash on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't get it. But she can ride a wave for like a minute long and go like when we're in Mexico, like no problem.
And the cool thing is she's letting you have your board collection.
Oh, yeah. 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 And I just got a brand new board I got to pick up actually from Brian Brown, Algorithm.
Wow.
Yeah, he just shaped me a new one. I got a couple at Christmas. Oh, so good. He was the shaper for Super Brand.
Okay.
I worked with him for a while at Super under one of the many hats that I've worn. Yes.
We'll get into some of those. We'll try to get them all, but we'll see what happens. Because I think there's so many. You got the surfing bug. How'd you get that surfing bug? And do you remember your first wave?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
My father grew up. He was part of that crew at Malibu First Point from the 60s.
Wow.
And I looked up your guests, and you had Corky Carroll on there.
I did have Corky.
So Corky and I are bros.
Cool.
And we're neighbors in La Saladita. We have a home down in Playa La Saladita.
Nice. Right.
My father, he left me when I was 5. He was kind of a bum. But he would have his surfboards at my house. And my oldest memories of his boards were, I was born in 1968. This would probably have been 1974. And I remember his green, pointy, Jerry Lopez style single fins, and he had candle wax. And I remember waxing his boards at my grandmother's apartment in Santa Monica. And then I found all these, I was bored one summer, and I found all these Super 8 movies of Malibu from 67, 68.
Wow.
So I got all into it, and then all the guys at my church that when I went to church, they were a little older than me, and they all surfed, and I got into it, and then I got so obsessed with it, so obsessed. I became the president of the surf club at my high school and started promoting contests, and I was always creeping at the PSAA events in Malibu.
What do you mean creeping? What were you trying to get or do?
Just blown away. I wanted to be part of the event. I was not that good of a surfer, still not that good. I was just obsessed with.
Yeah.
I was starstruck with
You're a Southern California kid that surfs.
I was starstruck by Dino and
of course.
and Lambrisi.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Willie Morris. And and
you saw him in the mags. And
Curran was, I was fortunate enough, like I was able to sneak up and go surf up at Rincon and stuff because I grew up in LA, in North LA, in a town called Woodland Hills, and we're right there in Calabasas, Woodland Hills, so we're kind of on the backside of Malibu.
The Vals?
Yeah, we were the North Vals.
Okay.
So we would jump on the road and go up and surf Rincon, and I remember meeting like Sean Thompson and seeing Curran and the blue and white rip curl suit, and that was just so amazing. Like that era of surfing, going down to the OP Pros, being part of the riot. I have a jersey.
Actually, I saw your Instagram. I think it was a couple months ago, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Where there's a picture of you on the pier, and you're like me.
Oh yeah.
That's classic.
Yes.
During the OP Pro.
I have that picture.
That's so
in
funny.
my scrapbook from
That's
the other
rad.
perspective. That was during the. I think that was the riot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the riot too.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, I was.
So I have a jersey.
Yeah.
I have a red OP Pro Sunkissed jersey that I grabbed
so awesome.
during when the riot happened, and Curran wore it, Aki wore it, they all wore it. Chris Cote did a whole story, one page on me on Transworld Surf about that jersey.
Wow.
And it was all illustrated of like the fire. It was just such a cool piece. Wish I had that. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I wish I would have. That sounds rad.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about how did you get to the OP Pro? Was your mom driving you from Woodland Hills, or you took a bus? Like,
yeah, we just we had in our church we had a we would get our dads to. Well, my dad, I didn't have a dad, so I leached on everyone's dads. My dad bailed on me when I was 5. The dads would drive us down, and we'd always camp out of San Onofre.
Cool,
but we would. The OP Pro, and we would, I don't know, we just...
So you had a group of kids that surf?
Yeah, there was a pack of us, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And we were just super core, like, we represented Malibu. I remember walking into Rock and Fig's shop, rest in peace.
Yep.
And I remember when I met Fig, I'm like, I hear you on the radio on K-Rock. You're the surf guy, and he's like, what's up, dudes? And we're like, yeah, our home spot's Malibu. And he's like, why the heck are you here? Like... Malibu's so much better than Huntington. And I remember I was like, I don't know. It's so cool to surf a beach break that doesn't just shore pound like Zuma Beach.
Yeah.
Zuma gets perfect, but Zuma also is very closed out a lot of times. So you go to Huntington and there's like peaks everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was so cool, being 15, 16 years old, going down Main Street in the 80s. Like
that was the best.
Back when it was not the Main Street today.
No.
The real Main Street.
Yeah.
The OP Pro ad campaigns and Jax and of Tom Curran, and I was a huge Curran fan, surfed Rincon a bunch. I felt like Rincon was in my backyard. In my, kind of in my repertoire of spots I'd go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, just big Tommy Curran fan. And I love to follow the contests around, and I just would stare at, the organizers and all that stuff.
Yeah. So you knew young that you wanted to be involved in this kind of surf culture.
Yes, it all kind of started for me. I was just obsessed with it. Fortunately, at the same time, I had some buddies at my junior high school that turned me on to some amazing music and some amazing bands from England. That music was like the soundtrack to my youth. It was like the mod ska music from the Specials.
Yeah.
And Madness and the Selector and things like that. I got so into that. And then I remember, there was a movie at that time. We spoke about it earlier, Beyond Blazing Boards.
So good.
And that's when I learned about the Untouchables.
Oh, yeah.
That's when I learned about the power of awesome music backing up your favorite surfers.
Yeah.
So all that was a precursor for me to what I was about to do, 8 years later with Taylor Steele.
Untouchables your favorite from?
Love the UTs, man.
The
I sing every
Gurus?
song. The Gurus, all Gang of Jang, the Hoodoo Gurus, and I play those songs for my kids, and they just love those songs. It was really neat growing up in the 80s. I think, though, for those of you who got to do that, it was special. It was raw. It was scary. Going to something like Silver Strand, some localized spots.
Super localized.
It was scary. I'm not a fighting dude. I was always scared, like Port Hueneme and all those stuff. And now I have a house there. So
it's changed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Has it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it wasn't even that long ago. It was still kind of gnarly.
There's stories.
But it was really gnarly when I was going there.
I bet. Yeah.
Dude, it was.
But that's kind of far from your house. I mean, how did you get to the beach? Did you go over like Malibu?
No, we just took the 101 freeway.
Oh, okay. And then ended up.
We surfed Wainimi a lot. So Wainimi was kind of like, if you didn't surf Port Wainimi Pier, it was very gang related there.
Yeah.
Surf gangs.
Silver Strand, all that.
Yeah, Strand was like another batch. So I'm pretty sure the Strand rats did not like the Wainimi guys.
Probably not.
There was a pretty heavy Nazi vibe there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Skinhead.
Punkers.
Yeah, but like not the punk rockers.
Like the old 80s.
Just sketchy, just swastika tattoos like on their arms, and they just were so scary and just wanted to hurt you.
That's all they wanted. Yeah.
They wanted to hurt and steal from you. So we would surf south of the pier, but you had your own issues there because then you had a lot of, I don't know, there was a lot of break-ins there. So we'd take everything out of our car and just go down to the beach.
Huh.
But Wainimi is where we went. Yeah, because you want to get away from the crowds, and Rincon was so awesome, but it just get crowded, and C Street, all the point breaks there, crowded.
So you kind of had the run of the mill, and like weekends, like you said, as a teenage group, you guys were traveling too.
We were mostly like our go-to spot was Third Point Malibu. That was where we all hung out. I grew up surfing there with the Incubus guys. It was so much fun.
They surfed?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just got off tour with them.
Wow.
I was on tour with them all summer.
Right.
Them and Sublime and the Aquadolls opened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about music. The Untouchables kind of turned you on how music and surfing can go into. So you said 8 years later, all of a sudden you're with anything in that 8 years. What do you just, are you working towards something or is it happening?
So, I remember going to my junior college counselor and I'm like, I want to be an events coordinator.
Huh.
Interesting. And I
how
like,
many people say that? Nobody.
I don't know. But I'm all, especially like in like surfing events.
Okay.
I would tell them that, and the lady would like look at me like, okay, you want to work in the surf? Okay, good luck. You know?
Yeah.
But I just, I don't know. I became a judge for the WSA.
Oh, okay.
And
so you started meeting people.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. David Lansdowne, who ran District 4 of the WSA, which was like the LA zone, he was a black leader. Like he was like, everything was dominated by white people, you know, like, and David was this black dude from Venice. And it was just awesome because the Venice guys had like this whole different take. And now Salema's posting, I'm seeing a lot of this stuff about Jimmy Metco. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's Salema did it, but there's this whole like, Venice Beach thing that happened in that era. And David Lansdowne was part of it. He was he was one of the best surfers from Venice Beach, but he ran WSA District 4. It was just, I don't know, I just loved the fact. And there was these great surfers that came from there. And it was like kind of like the first, I don't know, it was just, being young. It was just like.
So what I'm hearing is this guy that ran the WSA made it refreshing, different, something different.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, it was just really cool because everything else was dominated in a different direction.
Right.
And, and I was young and I didn't really know much, but I don't know. He really gave me a good chance and I really liked David. And he let me judge and be a part of the WSA. And I was so grateful to him. And plus he stood for so much more than that. Inner city surf kids and the kids from that area. It's kind of started there. And then I just did some competing, didn't do very good.
Yeah.
I just started putting on shows in Hollywood with like some.
But how does one start putting on shows? Like,
how did I do all that?
Did you meet people? Did you shake hands?
We had this
Were you
scene.
just there?
We had this scene at Malibu Third Point, and you have to. I can make a movie about it.
Yeah.
Okay. I see it so vividly. Hanging out at Third Point. I mean, there was a guy there named Jason Euler. He's now gone. He was like the guy. He was such a good surfer. And Mike Lamb.
Yeah.
Mike Lamb,
the guy of the magazine.
Slammer. Yeah. He was on the boat.
Ripped. And he was Goofy Foot, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Surfing like Third Point.
Yep. Third Point left.
Yeah.
So I'm Goofy Foot. And all the Goofies, of course, sniffed out the lefts. You know, the rights were for more like Morgan Bonin, who's obviously he's dead too. I did a film with him. I actually got him. He was such a good surfer. Surf like Curran. I don't know. We just had our scene at the Third Point, and and this thing was brewing, and the parties were crazy, and we would just hang out. Get dropped off at 6 a.m. I get my friends drive from Calabasas over, get dropped off at 6:30, and get picked up at 6:30.
Cool.
And I
12 hours at the beach.
All day long. My hair turned white. I had the worst sunburns I ever. My lips, like we didn't have all the fancy sunblocks.
Yep.
I had zinc oxide that my mom would take from the hospital she
Or
worked
the
at.
bullfrog in your eyes.
Oh, bullfrog! I couldn't even afford that, dude. No, I got the zinc oxide from the hospital, and that was in. I just would put it all over my face, but my lips would. I had big lips, so like they would get so burned, and I'd show up to the beach. I'd get dropped off in Malibu with like $1 or $2.
Yeah,
that's what I had, and we're there all day long, and we would go up to. I think it was Round Table Pizza, and we'd walk in and we'd say, okay, these people didn't eat their pie and they walked away. And I just swooped their pizzas.
Smart.
Go into the supermarket, which is no longer there. It's all fancy, bougie stuff in Malibu Shopping Center. And I'd buy Chocodile for 25 cents, a roll for 30 cents, and a cola for 25 cents. I don't know. It's like... Or a pack of hot dogs that were
whatever
like,
you could get.
They were putting on the discount rate, and we'd cook them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like...
So you were like having an adventure every single day.
Yeah, I was living kind of like an 80s version of the Big Wednesday scene, which that movie I was obsessed with. That was kind of like... took place, supposed to be Malibu in the 60s.
Yeah.
But I lived it in the 80s, and we had faster surfboards. We had... bikinis that were way more awesome to look at.
Yeah, probably.
You know, like at the time, it just at least it seemed like it. And we just had a lot of fun, a lot of jokers. You know, you'd be standing there looking at the waves, and a guy would come up and go, "Hey, what's up? You know, Rick, what do you think of the waves?" And you don't know, but there's a guy behind you, crouched down, and they would push you. We'd catch seagulls. We would, you know, my friends would all, you know, put human feces on other people's surfboards, soap them, wax the bottoms.
Well, you're there for 12 hours. You don't know how the waves are.
You get in trouble.
There's no surf line to tell you what the waves are going to be.
You don't know. Every day, our surf line was when we were coming over, that we would look, and if you saw white water through the V, looks good. Or no. We had the Zuma LA County lifeguards.
Yes, you can call them.
It was 213-457-0730. I think I remember it because I would put it on speed dial on my rotary phone.
That's funny.
And I would call, and it'd be like, south swell, 2 to 4 feet.
Okay.
And that meant it was like 4 to 8 feet.
Yeah. Always.
It was like,
they're always underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was it. LA County, that was our surf line.
Plus, your surf in Malibu, where a lot of the grapes came from, the greats of our culture, surf culture came from. And Sean Thompson's showing up there and surfing all the time. He's living there.
Yeah.
You're seeing some of the best surfers in the world right next to you.
It was really cool. I mean, I remember when Kaipo Guerrero showed up. It was a big deal. You know, and now he's a full commentator on the WSL. Like, I didn't know him, but I just remembered it was kind of a big deal that a Hawaii guy would come. You know, our local guy was like Ricky Schaefer. He was a backside goofy foot, and I kind of idolized him. I know I think he still lives down here somewhere in San Diego. Mike Lamb, Mike Chipko, Jason Euler. There was a guy, Chris O'Keefe. He was really good, but he was really mean to everybody. And my friend beat him up. He deserved it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but he wasn't very nice. You know, Malibu had its scene, and in every summer we would get a feature in Surfer. And they would show our spot, you know?
Wow.
And it was always like maybe the LA feature. Corey Pierce was probably one of the best kids that we had. He was on IG surfboards. We had a whole culture with our own boards, and from Slam Surf Shop to Fluid Drive, IG surfboards. We had our own that kind of represented that area.
Okay.
And then when you went up north, you had CI and Rincon Designs and Vector Vehicles and boards that represented those things. And then South Bay, you had ET surfboards and Spider. So everyone, it was like kind of tribal.
So that actually, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
Now let's fast forward back to the beginning of the conversation, and you have the different quivers in each house.
Yeah.
Do you have the Channel Islands up there,
Oh, the
and stuff?
CIs up there,
and then the other boards down here, maybe.
No,
okay.
I
I
have
hadn't asked that.
Yeah, no, I have Super Brands because I worked and ran that for a year with my buddy Paul Gomez.
All right.
No, I have everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Go
did
ahead.
have some CIs. Rob Machado gave me one for my wedding.
There you go.
But the CIs never really worked for me.
Really?
I don't know why. I found out Rusty's worked for me better in San Diego.
There you go.
Maybe because Rusty's shaped for these waves and those boards are for up there.
Yeah.
I don't do good with a lot of rocker.
Oh, okay. All right. So now you're in Malibu. Your crew is you're hanging out all day. You're starting to meet people.
Yeah.
And how do you get into promoting bands?
So
I know in high school.
Yeah.
You were a guy.
I started the surf club in my high school. I threw a show. I was just talking about this in a podcast the other day down in Tijuana, actually. My buddy Casey Fleming, he had a band called the Czechs, and they were kind of like, they dressed up as kind of like a ska band, and they played the high school fundraiser.
Right.
Slam Pit broke out. I was like, that was sick. I got in trouble. They took all the money away because we had to pay the money we earned. We had to go to the damages of the chairs and things that we broke. Yeah. Then I realized, I'm like, well, there's something here. And I started get, I want to be a rep. That's what happened. I want to be a rep.
Okay.
And I came across, and I actually met the guys from Volcom when Volcom just started, Richard Wolcott and Troy Eckert, those guys when we were on a surf trip down in Cuatro Casas in Baja. And
so you randomly ran into
I ran into these guys when this was like 1990 right there. And so now I'm out of high school. This was when Volcom was starting, and I remember I thought that was so cool. So I started putting some events together, and I reached out to them. Like, hey, I'm the guy I met. And they kind of sponsored a couple of my events, and I was using local bands, and I was putting on shows in the Woodland Hills, LA, the Valley area with like Incubus and stuff like this.
Wow.
When Incubus was, they can only draw like maybe 30 people.
Wow.
And we were just starting doing these parties, and then I started getting momentum, and then I don't know, I just started becoming the guy who was putting on these shows. I had no money.
Were people reaching out to you at this point?
Oh yeah, things started really changing, and I was so obsessed with the surf industry. I'd get like free stuff.
Okay.
Like I was so stoked. Like it didn't even feel like work.
So you weren't the traditional promoter.
No, I didn't do shows all the time. Like Golden Voice.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Golden
like those
Voice
guys.
ran LA and Avalon Productions and stuff. I was under the radar. I was marketing towards surfers. I was aiming at ska bands. I had one of the guys, his name was Burke. He ended up singing on that breakout NWA record, the very first one.
Wow.
It was their first big record.
Okay.
And he was the reggae rapper on it. And he went to my school in high school. The guys in Bad Religion went to my high school. So we have kind of like this history at the school I went to at El Camino. I remember I got hold of Burke. I'm like, hey, because that record was huge. The NWA record was like massive. So
it changed everything.
So he came in, and then I was working with this band called Coup d'Etat, which was really popular. I got in with those guys, and I got into with the Incubus guys, and I'm like, I really like putting these shows together. And then I did a surf movie premiere with like I can't remember what surf movie it was. It was a Quicksilver movie, because Casey, who played in the Czechs that at my high school, he worked for Freestyle and Pacific Sunwear and Quicksilver. He got hired at Quicksilver.
Okay.
So he introduced me to Willie Morris, and I started putting these events on. I think Quicksilver's the first one. And then I'm like, whoa. And then they send me like board shorts and wetsuits. And,
so you're kind of
like,
sponsored by them.
Dude, it was
How rad's that?
someone who had no money.
Yeah.
Like, you don't understand. Like,
And
that
you're
was,
a surfer.
And I'm sorry, that was more important to me, getting the free stuff, than money. And it kind of grew and grew, and then I moved to San Diego, and then it really ramped up.
You're kind of getting known. You're making a lot of friends.
Yes.
And how does that lead to momentum? Momentum 2, I think it was, right?
My first one was Momentum 2.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Was that your big one?
Wait, Momentum 2. I did a big one, I think, or maybe it was Momentum 2 at the Whiskey. I don't know. I did so many
Which
of them.
doesn't make sense because it's L.A. It's
I know.
not near the beach.
But that was a big one. The one I did at the Whiskey A Go-Go, I had the Offspring to playing.
Wow.
Are
they big at this point, or are they starting to get big?
$500.
Wow.
But they were on. You know what? I think it was Momentum 2, because they were on the soundtrack of Momentum,
yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember. So long ago. Yeah, so I was doing shows in Hollywood and in Mission Beach, San Diego, and it grew and grew, and then I got in really close with Pennywise guys, and that's, Pennywise really put the stamp of approval on my career. Yeah, I just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I don't know, there were so many shows. But I will say the most memorable one was, I talked about this actually last week, was the one in Hollywood. It kind of had that 60s vibe to it where we were doing a surf movie premiere. I got everyone from Malibu to come.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's a big deal because this is in Hollywood at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Bands like glam bands were playing on the Sunset Strip at this time. Yeah.
Actually, that would probably be before.
It was when Jane's Addiction was coming up, and like that whole rocker scene was really happening. So this punk rock, this new school punk rock thing was just, it was still, it was still not big yet, but it was definitely like the surfers were onto something. You know.
So that's what I mean when I said earlier, like it wasn't at the local theater by the beach. You're bringing these guys that probably don't go to Hollywood too often.
No,
showing up there.
There's like cars out front with boards on top.
So are they all surfers showing up, or are there punkers showing up, or like who's?
It was a mix because Offspring, when the word got out, the Offspring, they had a draw.
Yeah, of course.
And they were kind of getting hot. They hadn't written that smash record yet. It was still Ignition.
Yeah,
it was still Ignition,
which is a really good album.
Oh, that's the best one. That's the best album.
I think so too. I didn't want to say that out loud.
Taylor Steele was brilliant finding that one. Yeah, and those were the songs the Offspring were playing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the premiere was great, and it was so much fun.
Yeah. Now you're getting more famous. You're working with Taylor Steele. So I guess we skipped a lot in the middle, but that's okay.
We did. There's so much stuff.
Yeah.
It was just, those shows were awesome. They were starting to define my career.
Did you have a career at this point, and were you making money? And then you can tell me it's none of my business. That's fine.
No. Not yet.
Okay.
No, I was making money.
Are you surviving?
Well, I was a student. I was going to San Diego State University.
Yeah.
I had financial aid.
Perfect.
I was living off that.
Yeah.
And I was promoting one show every 2 months.
Okay.
I'd make a few grand.
Perfect.
And get a bunch of free stuff. I was also, there's one thing that was kind of cool at this time. I was being mentored by Jane's Addiction's manager.
Really? Okay.
Ted Gardner. Yeah, he managed Tool too. I don't remember how I met him. I think they were playing at my school, or they were playing in San Diego, and I wrote a letter.
Okay.
Because I love Jane's.
Yep.
And I wrote a letter, and I gave it to someone to give to someone. I go, hey, I want to take you surfing. Like, you guys are the raddest thing. And I go to class, and I got a call on my answering machine.
Wow.
Hey, you guys, it was the tour manager. They're like, dude, the guys want to go surfing. They'd love to hook up with you, but we only have like an hour and a half. Dude, I missed it.
That was...
I was so bummed. I think I was at health class.
Okay.
Something. I was devastated.
I'm surprised your pager didn't go off.
Yeah.
This is pager error, right?
I remember my pager number too. It was 619-989-1009. I don't know why. I can't remember people's names and stuff, but I remember these numbers because I had a pager.
Yours?
I did have a pager, but I think I only had it on. I was so poor, I don't remember. I just missed the call to go surfing with Jane's Addiction.
And which would have been a dream come true, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you are dealing with some of the best and most popular people at the time in this little culture.
Yeah.
And how are you feeling about this? Are you starstruck?
I'm really starstruck.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you playing it off cool?
People were always, my best friend Johnny would always laugh because I remember I was a huge English beat fan because I told you earlier that the ska. So we went and I won tickets to go see Rankin Roger.
Oh, okay.
Wow. He's gone now too.
Yeah, he just passed away.
Gosh, man, a lot of these people I'm talking about have passed away. It's just really kind of heavy. But I won tickets, and I remember I shook his hand, and I remember I was like, and my friend looked at me and said, "You are pathetic." I'm like, in that kind of like innocent passion for that music, or whether it was meeting Michael Ambrisi or Curran or whatever, I always have been like that. But I've always kept it kind of cool. And but yeah, I was just, dude, I was just,
Yeah, of course.
that's
just
what
like you.
drove me, and now I don't know, I've got, I've been able to meet a lot of, awesome people.
A lot of
and,
people.
I was just DMing with Slater the other day and we're talking about COVID stuff, and how can you not have like so much respect for that guy?
Yeah.
And we don't even really talk about surfing. We talk about things that we both kind of agree on certain issues. And yeah, I don't know. It's all self-made up. Like just from, it all started with surfing my whole career, and you just gotta be passionate and,
Okay. So let me ask you some questions, personal questions. First off, you're making contact with these people. Are they liking you just because of who you are? Does that make sense? You have to strike a chord with them.
Yeah. I feel like that has been one of my best kind of qualities is I'm a pretty likable guy, and I'm kind of like believe everything, I'm kind of like, ugh. I mean, that's where the big dummy thing came from. Was me and all my friends were the surfers, and we're all tall, and we're just kind of like, oh, like, and they called us the big dummies. And then we created the Big Dummy Jam. And those were all my shows. They were called the Big Dummy Jams, and it's my Instagram. So, and then my nickname for a long time was Dummy, but I never was bummed about it. I was thought it was kind of funny.
You just made
I just kind of played the part.
You didn't take it serious.
No,
it didn't mean anything to you. It didn't hurt you.
I don't think I'm dumb, but at the same time, I don't know, just
cruisy, maybe.
Cruisy. Yeah. And I think a lot of people thought that was pretty cool.
So these guys are becoming friends with you.
Yeah, I kind of swam in their lane. I mean, I went from a kid that got a surfboard on his 15th birthday. Mm-hmm. I surfed Malibu for my birthday, November 21st. I don't remember what year it was, 1984. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was on my birthday. I paddled out at First Point, Malibu. No one was out. It was raining. I got to surf for 30 minutes till it got dark.
But you're stoked because you're new board.
I was so stoked. And fast forward to a career that I've done these surf movie premieres, and fortunate enough to meet so many of these heroes, these pro surfers, and get to meet Bad Religion and get to take Bad Religion snowboarding in Austria and and surf the Goldie with Jim Lindbergh from Pennywise and surf Japan with Tom from Blink. I don't know, man. It's just crazy.
So cool.
I always used my bands secretly to go places to surf. If you looked at my tour routings, we always played the beach towns.
Yeah.
But that's where my bands got really popular. Mm-hmm. And thank God for the surfers. They're the ones who pretty much put my bands on the map. And I'll go to my grave saying that. So,
also, did you see yourself as a 15-year-old? Did you think this was going to be your life?
When I was 15, falling in love with surfing, I don't know. Yeah, I just remember I had this fire. I mean, first T-shirt I ever bought was a Billabong shirt that said "Only a surfer knows the feeling."
Yeah, okay.
And it's true. It really is true. I actually want to find that shirt. Let me see if Billabong still makes it. My buddy Chad is their rep. I'm going to see if they make it. But I mean, I went on to become very close friends with Bob Hurley and Paul Gomez and.
Just your contacts are huge.
It was great. I reconnected with Troy Eckert just recently. Geez, Punker Pat. And I mean, I don't know. It's just really cool going to all the trade shows. And I have so many memories, trade show parties in Florida.
Along with you being a promoter and a manager, right? Mm-hmm. That's amazing. You also worked in the surf industry too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
how did that happen?
Well, that was, that actually was kind of first, really.
Okay.
I was doing these shows, but I was chasing down, I wanted to be a rep because Casey Fleming, one of my best friends at the time, he was a rep for Quicksilver and freestyle and things like that. So I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to be a rep. I want to be the guy that goes to the surf shops. And I learned that, I got the racks and the hangers and my first rep job was Gary Linden.
Wow. Cool.
I became the rep for Linden surfboards.
That's awesome.
And I lived in Woodland Hills and he was in Oceanside.
Right.
And I just met him at the Long Beach ASR and I was like, I want to be a rep, And
so he said, I'll hire you, kid?
He hired me. And so I'm like, okay, sick. And
did you have a resume or anything? What did you do?
I don't remember. I had just something that I put together.
Right on. Cool.
And I remember my first account I opened was Bronze Age in Venice Beach.
Wow.
With this guy, Mike Cassell, which I found out that there was a lot of shady stuff that went through that shop at the time. I kind of knew, but I didn't, I was so out of my element.
You're just selling boards.
But he liked me.
Cool.
He's like, I like you. And the kid who ran the shop, I think because I had my David Lansdowne from WSA vibe thing. I don't know, man. I just kind of got like accepted. And he's like, I like you, man. We're going to carry you. And he bought these boards from me.
Yeah.
And I'm like stocking Lindens in Venice Beach at Bronze Age.
But it's working.
And it's working.
That's rad.
I couldn't really get them sold anywhere else, but for some reason, and man, he'd always pay on time and,
Wow. It sounds like also a lot of us as humans would be intimidated. We're walking in, we're over our head, and you were just kind of going in there.
I was kind of like, had that big dummy vibe. I was like, oh, like right on, dude. Like, cool.
That's so awesome.
But I wasn't like a stoner or anything.
No.
Then I picked up a wax company. I was desperate, but I didn't know. Called Ganja Surf Wax. It was green.
Don't even remember.
So I was the Linden rep and the Ganja rep.
Perfect.
It was so funny. But I was like,
Did your boards have green wax on it?
Yeah, they would be green. But in Malibu, I was just, I'd give the wax out to everybody and stuff. So that was my first kind of surf industry job. But by going to all the trade shows, I started seeing the players. Like, who's that guy? Oh, and it turned out to be Paul Gomez at Billabong. And like, who's that guy? Oh, that's, such and such, Bob McKnight. And, from Quicksilver. And I was like always going to the trade shows, always going. It was like I'd stay all 3 days. I'd drive back and forth and go to all of them. And then eventually I became like a pretty good powerhouse at those things, putting on shows. And then down the line, I made it all the way to becoming the team manager at Arnett.
Wow.
Reef. I was Andy Irons' team manager, Bruce Irons' team manager, Machado. That's how I met Timmy Curran. It was great. That was when the surf industry in the heyday, we had so much money. I never even turned in budgets. So I'm managing my bands. And at the time now I'm managing Blink.
Yeah.
They were known
before
as Blink.
they're blowing up? Or like
they were Blink. They weren't Blink 182.
Oh, they weren't 182. Okay.
Yeah, in Unwritten Law. So when I was working in the surf industry, the highest point of my career was those team manager jobs that Paul Gomez got me. Paul Gomez is one of my best friends, and he was the team marketing manager at Billabong. He saw what I was doing. I met him at Malibu at a slams at a surf contest, and he saw what I was doing, and he sponsored the Taylor Steele tours, the Focus tour. Yeah, he sponsored it, and so he paid for everything, and it was so cool. Instead of them trying to have a world champion, they were sponsoring Taylor Steele tours, and they had like the Malloy brothers and Dorian and Benji, and
right.
They didn't have all the top tier guys. They had kind of...
But the guys that were being watched day in and day
that
out
were in
by
the
all
movie,
the local guys.
The movie guys.
Yeah, the guys we were looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Paul and Bob saw what I was doing as valuable, and they just started sponsoring everything I did. So they were kind of bankrolling me because I was kind of their into this. And man, they were very smart. I mean, because we had something very special.
Wow. That's a lot. But how fun was that?
Oh my gosh.
Are you
walking in?
Do you miss it?
Oh yeah. But I still get all geeked out when I get free clothes. Like,
okay.
It's crazy. Like, I have really good connections now. Paul Gomez sent me a whole box of IPD.
Wow.
But I remember being able to walk in on a Sunday, like, hey, I'm cruising by with the Blink guys and the radio programmer of K-Rock. Open it up. He'd meet us down there. Take whatever you want. You get like 80, 90 items.
Wow.
Like garbage bags full. And he wouldn't even like write it down.
Wow.
It was a different time.
Yeah,
and
completely.
So imagine getting all these amazing clothes and Quicksilver, Billabong, Volcom. I feel like I've been sponsored my whole life. Salt Life sends me stuff. Dark Seas, IPD.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just really cool. Yeah.
As a 15-year-old kid, free stuff still, having fun.
Getting stoked.
So what are you doing today? Go till present.
Yeah, fast forward.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still managing developing artists.
Okay.
I have
the Aqua Dolls.
I have 3 bands that I manage. I manage the Aqua Dolls, which is an all-girl band from Huntington Beach.
And I've seen them live, and they're really good.
Oh, rad. Yeah. Yeah, you saw them at Lucas Austin's premiere.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
excellent.
so fun.
It was super fun.
It was fun. Yeah.
But as an old man sitting in the background,
Oh, wait, you weren't the one in the pit?
I skipped it.
Yeah, the Aqua Dolls, and I manage a band called Sitting on Stacy, and I manage a band called the Sully Band.
Wow.
Yeah, and they all have really amazing things happening for them.
Okay, you want to talk about the bands and what their sound is?
Yeah, so the Aqua Dolls are kind of like, the way I like to describe it is kind of like a modern day take on the Go-Go's with
That's a good
with an attitude of Joan Jett.
Oh, okay.
You know, I co-manage them with my buddy who manages Pearl Jam, Smitty.
Wow.
Yeah, and we manage the Aqua Dolls together, and we took the band from playing tiny rooms in Orange County, getting ripped off, to Lollapalooza,
Wow.
ACL, Austin City Limits, Ohana Festival. We're coming up on the Ohana Festival. I'm not supposed to say that, but we're on the big night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're on a big night. And
Cool.
Toured with Incubus and Sublime and White Reaper and Pennywise, and I mean, we've done such great stuff. I get to work with my daughter. She's been tour managing and working under my.
You're teaching her?
Yeah, I'm teaching her.
That's
and,
right.
She's submitting for colleges today for USD and USC, and all that experience is on her resume.
That's
and
awesome.
It's really neat. And Sitting on Stacy's amazing 3-piece band from Ventura County, and they were discovered by the Jonas Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we toured with the Jonas Brothers in Mexico in September of 22, and we have some big stuff coming. I got them to work. They're flying out to Nashville to record with Rome from Sublime.
Wow, that's amazing.
And I'm really excited about that. And Pierre from Simple Plan. Yeah, we have a new record of those guys coming out too. And then the Sully Band is this new band that I'm working with, and totally different, out of my wheelhouse. A 10-piece band. The singer's 61 years old, named Sully. He's a radio, television. He's famous on television down here.
Yeah.
He's on KUSI News. He's the financial reporter. And he loves his band. And
So he has a passion.
He has a psycho passion.
Okay, cool.
Psycho. It reminds me of my passion for how I was for surfing and my stuff. I mean, I've never seen a guy of his age with so much energy. And he hired me. I'm managing his band. He's letting me produce some television shows at his studio, and I'm going to book his nightclub when it opens up. And the television shows are now reopening all the doors. I mean, I'm talking to Donovan Frankenreiter and Taylor Steele and Wing from Wahoo's, and all the guys, Paul Gomez, do an IPD thing. Everyone, I take them with me. And I'm going to, now this next year, we're going to do television shows on action sports. Todd Richards, my buddy's a pro snowboarder. We're going to do some stuff, and I'm never going to let it go, you know? And so it's just cyclical, and I don't know, it's pretty cool. So that's what I'm doing right now, are those bands and those TV show stuff.
And then what about this location here at the Loft?
Yeah.
100 in Carlsbad.
Yeah.
This place is awesome. So thank you for letting us record here, by the way.
Of course, yeah. The Loft 100, this is, you know, we're in the temporary, well, we're moving from this building. Sully bought a building that's 3 times the size, Carlsbad by the airport. So huge television studios there, capability, video screen, walls, the 9 nightclub, recording studio for bands, podcast rooms.
Yeah.
He wants to be the biggest entertainment hub in south of LA.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to ask you. What's the goals
Yeah,
there?
big time stuff. You know, big time stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's exciting. I'm like, wow. He came to me. He looked me up. Like, feel pretty honored. You know.
Yeah, that's right.
To
Did you know him beforehand?
I knew him from the news.
You knew of him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. He wanted to meet me, and I guess he barged in on a meeting I was having with my buddy Ernie Hahn, who runs the San Diego Sports Arena, and we went to dinner, and Sully jumped in, and I don't know, he saw something in me, and I was really stoked. Made me feel good, you know. You know, I'm not working with Blink-182 anymore, but this was kind of like an awesome next chapter, you know. And I really kind of get back to my roots more with surfing and not be so distracted with when you're managing a massive band like that. It's quite different than when you're managing a younger band. Not as fun.
I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't know, but most of us probably wouldn't know. But a couple questions with that is now you have a family and stuff.
Yes.
Before you were a single man, or I'm assuming. Or,
I've been with my girl since 1987, dude. She went through the whole.
okay.
She went through the whole thing.
Was she going on tour with you? Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
And she's flown out. I remember when we were doing the Good Times tour in Australia. She flew out.
What a good time tour. Such a good
when
movie.
we were at Blink 182 and Pennywise in Australia, premiering the movie. So fun. No, my wife's been with me the whole way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still must be easier, no kids and young man's. I don't know how to describe it. I'm just assuming. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always knew I was going to have kids, and I have three awesome children.
That's rad.
Yeah, they're two 21-year-olds, a 24.
Okay.
And they're all accomplished, man. They've all had amazing careers.
Cool.
Yeah, like Fisher with younger son commentating the NSSA for 6 years.
That's rad.
Working with the WSL with Peter Mel and Cote, and my daughter JC, she was the youngest yoga instructor in the United States, and she got really famous in that spot. Been in magazines, Good Morning America, the whole nine.
Wow.
I had nothing to do with it. Like, she just did it, and then my older son Ryder, he became an accomplished spear fisherman, and he's been sponsored since he was 15. And
for spearfishing?
Yeah.
There's such a thing? I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is a new thing to me.
He's been on covers of magazines, gets paid, and
so he's like a sports guy or like an athlete.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's on a brand called Salt Life. They sponsored him when he was 15.
All right.
He's been a paid athlete since he was 15. He's 24.
Sweet.
And he goes all over the world. They sent him. He's on the Rife spear gun team, and Rife is kind of like they're the original spear gun, most respected.
Okay.
And Jay Rife, when he was alive, found Ryder when he was 15, and they signed him. And Salt Life happened, and Progenics happened, and Nixon. He got all this stuff that came with it,
Yeah.
And now he's still got all that, and lifeguard, EMT, and training to be a pilot. So I'm pretty stoked. My kids they're all doing really good. And
Cool.
Homeschooling, I think, had a lot to do with that.
Oh, really? Okay.
All surfers. They all surf really good, and amazing fishermen, boaters, beach people.
Do you watch WSL?
Yeah, I've been watching it a lot. Yeah.
Well, what do you think of it now?
Oh, versus like
Back when we were kids and.
Well, I'm a big Joe Chappelle fan.
Yeah, I like Joel.
I'm friends with him, and I'm fortunate to get to know him. And I love hearing him and Cote commentate. I love hearing Peter Mel's voice. I love hearing Laura Aniver, all them. So I like watching it. The Make or Break series on Apple. I was telling you earlier, I just love it. As a surf geek fan, it's probably the best inside look to the pro surfing world that I've ever seen in my whole life, and I really enjoy it.
With your promoting background and all that, is there anything they could change to?
I mean, honestly, they do such a good job.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah. They do such a good job. I mean, everything they touch seems to be it's pretty amazing quality. I don't know. I'm a big fan of watching it. I know there's there's a lot of political views that they're starting to go down the roads on, where that's causing some controversy. Like I saw the Bethany Hamilton post, and stuff like that. But I try to push that aside and really, I just feel like they did such a great job wrapping up Kelly's whole life, showing Griffin Colapinto's struggles against Kanoa Igarashi. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. My son actually surfed in some heats against Kanoa when he was younger. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun seeing the Brazilians like really open my eyes to what amazing athletes those guys are, and I want to get my bands to play down there in Brazil.
Okay, I guess the question I should have started off with, you being an entertainer coordinator, I guess they're doing the right thing. In the right path from your perspective.
Honestly, watching that TV show, I
know it sounds bad. It's not. I'm just. You have a different.
I feel like
they're
doing an amazing job. Okay. Having the girls compete at the same events was a big deal for me. So. I thought it was about time.
And one thing you did say earlier before we started recording, you're watching the girls' heats a lot.
I watch a lot of girls' heats.
Me too.
I really enjoy it. We're friends with some of the girls that are on the tour, and it's fun to watch them surf, and I like seeing them at Pipeline and stuff. But then it's also fun to watch Colapinto and
And then what about wave pools?
I like the wave pools. I've spent a lot. Yeah, I've got a lot of time out at Waco, and I got to surf Kelly's pool last year for a couple of days. You know, they have that so dialed.
So I'm asking about wave pools, thinking that would be a perfect place to see, like having a bandstand kind of thing, like an arena.
Yeah, no, there's so many wave pools that are coming that are like, you know, they've got music, they've got gambling, they've got, you know, everything, boutiques, and surfing coming in the next couple decades is going to be quite different.
Right.
It's going to be quite different. I mean, those wave pools are going up everywhere. There's so much money. It's like a gold rush, like a wave pool gold rush.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the waves are perfect. Worst wipeout of my life was at Kelly's pool.
Really? How was that wave?
Well, they're kind of gnarly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. No, that right. Even though I think I got the left was I went over the falls. I surfed it at night and I splashed my eyes and they kind of dilated in the lights of the arena where it was dark and it was messing with me. So I read the wave wrong. Yeah. So I kind of straightened out, but then I'm like thinking I had a shoulder and I went up to do a turn and there was no water underneath me, and I went complete upside down and landed square on my head.
Oh shit!
It was so painful. I hurt my shoulder so bad. You know, this was my second wave at Kelly's pool. I've been waiting forever. So
dreaming of it.
I was devastated, but I punched through it the next day and I got some. But yeah, those pools, they hurt.
They could be dangerous, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Is there potential for something bigger than what they're seeing? Because you kind of saw the future before it happened. I would say you're kind of the inventor, the promoter of the whole 90s.
Oh, okay.
You're at least
thank you.
a big hand in it.
Yeah, no,
Do you see anything? Do you see potential in the future of something that can be?
Well,
big?
yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, I will say, you know, I think a lot of people agree that the wave pool events are kind of boring to watch on the WSL.
Yeah,
you know,
not necessarily in an event format, but like as a everyday surfer venue.
Well, I've heard like, you know, like that's the one contest that's kind of not as fun to watch.
Yeah. But the longboarders on it look pretty good.
The longboarding?
Yeah. Yeah. If you watch that or
I'm
not.
friends with JJ Wessels, and he's got a lot of clips of him longboarding there. Yeah.
That wave's almost better for a longboarder.
But those waves there in the venue and how they have it set up, I mean, in what's coming, I know because I'm privy to some of the information that's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have shows, and they're going to be destination flyaway weekends.
There you go.
Instead of going to Tahiti or Fiji, you're going to Scottsdale, Arizona.
All right. Anything else big coming up? Besides your 3 bands you're managing?
Those are my things that I'm promoting are my bands, and just records coming out, and you know, try to get them in surf movies and snow movies and things like that. And
are movies still a big thing?
I like it.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, I think so. You know, the movie premieres, we just went to Makua Rothman's premiere at La Paloma a couple nights ago. It was the Monster Big Wave thing. I still, you know, everyone likes going to La Paloma Theater watching a surf movie.
Best place ever.
Yeah.
100% best place ever.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Love surfing.
Well, Rick, thank you so much for coming on the QuiverCast. I really appreciate it.
I wish you nothing but the best. It seems like you got something really special here.
Cool, I appreciate that. All right, everybody, this is Mike and Rick. Yeah. We're out of here. Later.
100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like my food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like my food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. Your boo on my didgeridoo. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. She grabbing a hold of my leggy. They jelly, they Gucci my weddy. The fridge of Giuseppe, the chain is so heavy she thinks that I'm charging the Eddie. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. Surf trap, I'm stacking that money. Cash, four shots a red Ferrari. He starts to calling me Dundee. Diamonds a surfing McFlurry. She want me to teach her to surf. Splash, I'm pulling up, ripping the verse. I'm leaving these kooks in the hearse. They get moved 100 foot on their head, they get work. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out choke food, 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't with no cooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. You know we don't fuck with no cooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.